Okay. Right now there's rocks there. I did get a lot of little jacks as well. Okay, so sun's not up yet. It's about the earliest I've been onto an island. We're quite close. I think we're less than about 6k's or 7k's out, I think. So I've done all right here. So I thought rather than going further afield, I'm just gonna see how it goes here. It doesn't seem to be any difference really going out much further. And I think there's quite a lot of swell out there today. I'm gonna start off with, I loosened the drag when I was putting the knot on. Let's check that. Well, it's tight as anything. I want it pretty tight. It's pretty tight. Okay, so I've got this Enticer minnow on. This is a 90 gram. I'm just going to work it to start with slowly, just splashing. Fish there. Oh, what the heck's that? Just don't make it go around that corner. Looks like tuna shaped. We can fight over there, no worries. Ah, it's a little rooster, is it? Me. Yeah, behind me, little roosterfish. Wow. Okay, lovely little roosterfish. First thing in the morning. God, put up quite a fight for his size. I couldn't believe it. Saw it was a shape. The shape was different, and it wasn't. A jack, I don't know. I thought for a minute it was something like, what is it, like a bonito or something like that for a second. Only then it jumped out the water and everything. So I'm going to get him back in quick. Yeah, lovely little rooster. I'm going to get him back in quick. Just holding him till he. I think he's ready to go now. There he goes, lovely. Well, that was a really good start. And I guess it's a good sign, a rooster. That was what I was targeting. Not then. I was thinking more a jack then or snapper. That was literally the first cast of the morning. Just on a slow retrieve with this Enticer minnow, just splashing it through. I just thought if there's something around there, give it a chance to see it and grab it. Try to go around that point there, and yeah, it's pretty strong really for its size. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I mean, it wasn't certainly not a big rooster. A big fish going around there would be difficult to stop. I'm just going to try off the point over here now. I've moved over to the front now. That other spot is good, but I'm just going to try some different areas around this point while it's still early morning. I've got the 120 gram Shad on. I'm just sort of retrieving it through, like you can see, sort of pulls and then winding up the slack. Medium to fast, I'll say, not too fast. Hard to find any patterns here about the fishing because there's so many places the fish can go. But in terms of activity, I would say that the bigger tides, fish are more active. And I noticed as the tides got smaller, it got less active. tides seem to be getting a little bit bigger again, which is good. Okay, so I've hooked onto something. I've seen some, not a big fish I don't think, well it's not, but something's hit it. Jack. Just have to wait for the next wave. Nice little jack. Okay, nice little jack grunting away there. I've seen a bit of activity on the inside, just where there's like a ledge, and some fish looked like they were feeding, so I cast this big shad to it, and this one hit it. It's a good time of the morning for things like this. Like in the day, a small fish probably wouldn't hit such a big lure, I doubt, but anyway, it's a good start. 2 little fish to do with the big one now, but I'm not complaining. It's just nice to get onto some fish. There was some fish splashing around, looked like they were hitting a little bit of bait fish. That must have been like some little jacks. So when I brought the shad through, bingo. So in this little backwash here, it's the kind of places you get jacks hanging out. Okay, so last day's tomorrow. So I was deciding where to go, and I think if it's like this here, I think I'll stay here. Close in, easy to get back, and it's just been just as good as anywhere really. And I definitely get the feeling you could hit a big fish here, 100%, as likely as anywhere. Just come round to the front of the island because the tide's going down. It looks really good here. I've had snappers here before, jacks, and some follow from a rooster on the last trip when I had 4 days here. So hopefully it looks good. So this looks a real prime spot here for something to be sitting in there. Oh, it's off. Shit, I struck really hard. Fuck. Okay, I don't know what hit it then, but it wasn't a needlefish. I think it was a jack or something, and I struck really hard. I thought I was on, but not. Okay, so this is the afternoon, sort of rain off. It's rainy season here, and it's like this every afternoon. Fortunately, the mornings have been okay. I mean, I like it overcast, because when that sun comes out, it really gets hot, and the overcast conditions are sort of good for fishing. Although you wouldn't really know it, the fishing has been really tough. We've really struggled out there. I say we because I've been fishing from the shore, and the other guys, Victor and Shumbo, it's mainly Shumbo, they've been spinning the whole time from the boat, either trolling or spinning to the rocks, and they've literally had hardly anything. They couldn't believe it really. I mean they're local guys, so they do know what they're doing. So yeah, so I'm really thankful that I got into a couple of really good fish so far. I've got a couple of sessions left. It would be great to get into another good fish or two, but yeah, it's just got to put the hours in and hope that the fish are about really. Not a lot else you can do. It sometimes looks fantastic, the conditions. You get there and it just looks everything perfect and nothing. So as I say, a couple more sessions and I guess I'd be happy with one more quality fish really. I decided to do a quick session. Once the sun got up, you can feel it gets really quiet. And so I was just gambling that it wouldn't rain really heavy to at least later. So come out for an afternoon session instead. It's not so far from home. I'm going to fish off the point again. It's high tide. Cheers. God, just as I jumped, the boat went up. There's Shumbo out there in the boat. He's just sort of going around a few islands. He prefers to troll a lure out the back. looks like loads of tiny or small jacks hammering a load of really tiny bait fish. There could be other fish around, you know, because of that, other bigger fish hanging around. So I'm going to cast near it. Okay, so a big bait ball's just in casting distance, so it's only small jacks, but there could be other stuff around. It's gone right out there. Something's hit it. Obviously it must be a jack. Very big at all, but that's what's hitting everything. Okay, so got this little jack on the fat minnow. This is what is in the bait ball. This is what's hitting everything, these little jacks. So yeah, it's crazy. I was just casting towards it, not necessarily to pick one of these up, but more to see if there's any other bigger stuff hanging around underneath. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to get back at it. Okay, managed to get here first thing in the morning again, so Shumbo's really keen. He had some lovely mackerel called Serrajal, really good to eat. He had some of them yesterday and he gave me one, so he's out keen to get some more. Anyway, it's the last morning, so gonna get fishing straight away. Yeah, yesterday I managed to get a fish on the first cast. It was a good start. Yeah, if it carried on like that, I'd have had about 300 odd fish yesterday, but unfortunately it was just the first cast and then it was back to the waiting game. Okay, I've come down to the front of the point now. So the swells are pretty small by the looks of it. I've been keeping an eye on it here and it seems alright. Tide's on its way down as well, which makes a big difference. It's got a really pretty smooth surface today and the splashing looks really good. So anything below is going to have a good chance of seeing that. Good thing about these lures are like you can splash them, but they're very easy on the arm. So I mean the fish can of course be anywhere, but the first probably 100 meters in to the rocks are all good. Okay, it feels like probably a small jack, I guess. But not bad. I have to get closer. Yeah, it is a little jack. Okay, so a small little jack there, hooked right on the lip, just so lightly that could have come off. So I struck pretty hard because I didn't know what it was. But anyway, at least I caught a fish. To start with, it always takes the pressure off. So it's still early, I'm going to get back at it. Okay, so jacks always fight pretty hard. Even the small ones, they give a good account, but I definitely wouldn't mind connecting with the big daddy of it. Oh yeah, another one's hit it. Okay, so next cast. Pretty certain it's one of those jacks again. I'm just going to wind fast and keep it up high because there's a lot of rocks out in front there. That's it. As soon as I can see my leader, I know I'll be alright. You see the leader? Yes. Okay, this time he took the shad. I just put on the 70-gram shad, as I always like mixing between that and the enticer. And yeah, I had one on previously, so there must be a few of these out there. still kicking around from yesterday when they were hitting the bait ball. So it's quiet apart from that. I had a hit over there, a hit over here with a needlefish. Definitely saw it's just a needlefish. So probably a needlefish there as well. So let's get this one back. There was a lot of jacks around yesterday, that sort of size, hitting a bait ball there. Okay, I'm on with another one. This one's bigger, definitely feels bigger anyway. Yeah, it's coming at me. It's heading down this bits of that reef, so I'm gonna keep him up here. I'm gonna keep him moving up through the water as it just gets some real rocks in close there. Now, I don't want to say it's bigger and then it turns out the same, but it's certainly putting up a better scrap. I know it's not, definitely not a huge one. Ah, that's what it was. So it's basically, okay, so that one felt bigger, but don't think it is. But it just foul hooked and it went like, I thought it was, it just fell. It was bigger, but I want to get this out quickly anyway. He's only lightly hooked. Yeah, just through the fin, so he'll be absolutely fine. I'll just get him back. Okay, so sun's up and the morning action bit is over. Although it wasn't that amazing, just a few jacks, but definitely better than nothing. So I'm trying another little spot here, just fishing along the rocks there in the backwash. So yeah, so sun blocker on and just hang in there. I'll fish as much as I can, targeting the roosters. So I'm going to be concentrating after this on the roosters, casting out and along the edges, out everywhere, all over really, and see if one passes by. That's probably, it's definitely a chance. That's my best bet. But now the sun's high, I like to keep covered up as much as I can with the bottoms and the top. I don't like to stick loads of blocker on, but the sun is pretty strong, even in the rainy season. Okay, this is what keeps me going out on the rocks. This one's took a bit of a bashing in the bag, but the other one's in the packed lunchbox, so it's alright. But yeah, it's definitely helped keep your energy levels up. Okay, I've tried quite a few places this morning. I've tried these points along here, tried this side and around the front and around the other side. And it's always good to try those spots to see if there's anything hanging around in the backwash there. And now the sun's fully up, I'm gonna just sort of sit it out here. It's good to pick one spot and hope for a passing big fish, really, like a rooster, hopefully. This is the last attempt to hit a rooster before I have to go home, pack up. I don't hold out big hopes, but there's definitely a chance. You just need to keep that lure in the water as much as you can. If one shows up, it's important just to not get disheartened, just to keep going. And that's what I'll do to the end, so till I have to go, and then I know I've given it my best shot to hit another one. But I suppose I can be happy with the two I got. I don't believe it, I've just seen a rooster follow it in close. Shit. God, my heart is increased. But at least it gives me hope. It's frustrating that they didn't hit it. I didn't even see any fins, I just seen it in close under the water. You don't always see the fins unless they come right up into the next stage where they're going to probably hit it. but they were just following underneath. It was right just down here in the backwash. It's really difficult to get much speed on it without just pulling it straight out of the water. But I just managed to try to move it around as much as I could. Okay, that's pretty much the end of this final session. Yeah, it's been a really good trip. It's not been the easiest fishing, and I've literally had to work for every fish. I did expect there to be more fish about, but I had heard that before that in October there tends to be bigger fish around, possibly, but less fish, and it did seem the way, to be honest, although I did get a lot of little jacks as well some of the days. So I really can't complain, because I got what I came for, and that was to get a big rooster. And it's really so hard to plan that, because just one little change and it wouldn't have happened. I mean, I nearly lost a fish at the end, and so yeah, it could have all worked out so different. Today was a bit unfortunate. I had two really nice size, good 30-pound solid roosters just right on the inside below me, looking at my lure, and I was kind of quite high up, and I had the enticer minnow, and I couldn't really do much more. I was trying to just bring it in and tweak it along and hoping that they'd hit it before I took it out, and then never saw them again. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. And obviously I'd have liked them to hit the lure. It would have been a really nice finish to the trip if I could have landed another one. But to land two roosters, I can't really complain. And I had a few nice other fish, so it was well worth coming for. Yeah, it was also good to test the equipment out. The new rod, the new Maximal, that was excellent, and looking forward to using that again on these type of situations. As I've said many times, I love the longer rods around the rocks for the control they give you, and these rods for working the lures is really good. And of course, when you're playing a fish, it really helps to have that extra length. It was the first time out here for the shad, and so yeah, I was pleased with how the shad went. I tested a few of the little ones one day and got into some nice little fish. I didn't spend too much time on the small ones, because obviously I was, time was limited, and I was really looking for a big fish, so I kept with the bigger lures. And well, the shad came through for me in the end with the rooster, which was unexpected. So I'm going to make my way back now. Jumbo's going to take me back. I've got to rush around, get everything packed, get off the island. He's going to give me a lift off the island, get a taxi, and I've got an overnight bus tonight, and then I got my flight. So yeah, hopefully all goes to plan, and yeah, I'll be looking forward to getting back to see my family. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be doing more videos in the near future, so yeah, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more films, and yeah, hit the notification button. Okay, thanks again. That's a rooster. That's a rooster. Nice, hit it again. Shit. No, it's gone down in front. It's gone right down these rocks there. Fuck. Oh shit. Hope it goes out further. He's going to get me on the rocks. Oh my gosh. It's going. just was having a chat about the fishing out here before I go, and I just decided to have a couple more chucks and see where he is. I can see him shooting across over there. I can just keep him out where he is until he's tired. He went for the lure. He missed it the first time. He hit it, but he missed it. I carried on retrieving again, and he got it the next time he came back. I don't come in too close. Don't want him around these rocks. Shit. I got washed in then, but I'm still on with it. Had to keep the rod up. There he is. Now I'm going to bring him in here. Like he's ready to come in. The lure's come out. Can't believe I got that one. I literally finished and I was just packing up, and I decided for one last cast before I packed all my gear away, and then this one followed, hit it, missed it, hit it again, and then a real big fight ensued. I got knocked off the rocks, washed in, but I managed to keep my rod up and the line out the water away from the rock in front of me. I won't go into all the details now because I've got to get him back, and I managed to land it. I can't believe it. What a brilliant finish to a trip. I'm going to get this rooster back now. Okay, a few little tips on working the Samson lures and for working them for long periods of time. This is the extra heavy version of the long cast. But I can cast this for real long periods of time without any problems at all. It's not that heavy anyway, especially for the strength. A few little tips I would give you to make it easier if you're working one of these rods and with these Samson lures is the top waters work really well when you've got the rod tip up. So if you've basically got the rod tip up, I keep the butt balance in the butt pad, and so it's just taking the weight of the rod and you're just literally winding it. You could just be holding it with one finger. Not that I'd advise that in case a fish hits, but just holding it very lightly, just ready to, you know, tighten up and strike if a fish hits it. And I normally drop the rod tip down when it's closer in, or if I'm using a subsurface lure like the tweak or the shad, and I'm keeping the rod tip down the whole time. I just got the butt of the rod under my armpit, and I could just literally be holding it there with my little finger. There's like no pressure, it's just sort of balancing there. So the only real effort is with the left hand winding, which isn't a lot of effort. And that's the easiest way. You can spend hours retrieving these lures then. So here I'm just going to start off with the rod tip up, just nice and light holding it. And I'm just using little taps with the rod tip up there. I don't know if you can see, just little taps on the rod tip, just to get that lure splashing erratically. And then as it gets in closer, I'm just dropping it down. Again, look, I'm hardly holding the rod. It's just balanced under my arm, the butt, and just working the lure all the way through to the shore. So today I'm using the Samson Long Cast XH Extra Heavy. I would be using the Maximal, but damaged the ceramics on the tip of that one getting off the boat. Should have packed it down, but anyway, these things happen. But basically we've now got 4 rods on the Samson range. They're all 12 foot and all suited basically for different casting weights, different conditions. We now have a lighter version, which is 270 grams, and that's the Expanse, and that's ideal for bass fishing, all sorts of lure fishing really, when you need to cast lighter lures from around 15 grams up to about 60 grams. And that's a really nice light balanced rod, also ideal for working lures. It's got a really good tip for working lures, and obviously got the 12 foot reach like the others, so it's good for casting and good for playing fish, working lures around the rocks, etc. The other new addition is going to be the Maximal, which has got a casting range from 60 grams up to 200 grams. But like all of them, you know, you can cast below. I cast lighter lures on it already. That's another really lovely rod, and I really enjoy using that rod. I had some nice fish on it on this trip. And yeah, the other two is the standard long cast and the extra heavy long cast, which is kind of mid-range. These are for casting 30 grams up to about 100 grams, although yeah, I've certainly been casting 130 grams with these at times. Yeah, all of them are ideal for you know, shore-based stuff around the rocks. You really need every bit of reach you can get when you're out on rocks, when you're either working the lures or you're playing fish around the rocks and you need the reach, or just working the lures along an edge here. I can just stick my rod out and just work that lure and keep it away and cover as much ground as I can along the edge where often the fish will be sitting. Also, playing the fish gives me some good reach. You know, when fish are diving down, you've got an extra reach. Really makes a big difference in whether you could lose the fish, and I certainly found that on a lot of occasions. So yeah, I'm really enjoying using the 12 foot rods, and anything else would definitely feel short for me at this point.